So I'm just sitting here down the coast on my deck by myself. It's early morning, been up for a few hours because, you know, I'm manic and I get up at like 5:30 no matter what. It's kind of when my body wants me to get up and get out of bed. So, you know, sometimes I lie there and scratch my nuts and go back to sleep, but a lot of the time I actually get up and do something, like go for a walk or like gently stretch manically or something like that, you know. Anyway, I wanted to record a video this morning while a conversation I've just had with my beautiful partner Rose is fresh in my mind. And she's really unhappy about some of the things that Nicole's saying about her and us and me. And she's really unhappy that Nicole cyber stalked her and is, like, you know, basically lobbying me that I really need to exercise caution with her and I can't trust her. And, you know, she's really unhappy that Nicole's trying to do everything she can to stop me from having any ability to live my life and operate, you know, a bank account and, you know, choose to live with Rose and not to live with my abusive wife Nicole, who, would you believe, despite all that's been said, all that's been done, is still offering me that I can go back to my home at any time and that I've got nothing to worry about and that I can live with her. Are you for real? Like, how many times have I got to say I never want to see you again? So, all that aside, you know, I love Rose. Nicole's never met Rose and she never will. Some of my friends will hopefully meet her one day. But, you know, for those of you who want to judge her or judge me for falling in love with her, you don't know. You weren't there. You don't know the love that's in our heart. And so I really don't care what you think. Unfortunately, Rose does care and it's hurt her a lot. And so she's about to go to sleep her time and she's really upset because she doesn't feel that anything that's being said about her is fair. She, you know, it hurts when people attack you, I guess. So anyway, the main reason I wanted to record this video is because I've got a high fucking difficulty, high risk situation in play right now that is driven entirely by my wife's nature. Let's just say that. So you probably know we're about to sell the business. We've got some buyers that are ready to sign a contract. We should get the money for the sale within 3 weeks. Despite all this, we still need to operate the business between now and then. And, you know, to close the business out, we need to pay all our debts, all our suppliers, the tax man, everyone that we owe, right? And there's a simple way to do that, and that's to just like square off all those accounts and pay all our debts, and then whatever's left out of the sale, we take that money and we walk away with whatever's left, right? That's the simple and the honest and the ethical way to do it. It's the legal way to do it, and I believe it's my moral obligation to pay my debts. But Nicole, being extremely prickly, difficult, obstinate character, is digging in her heels. She's not supporting us to actually get across the finish line. She'd rather burn it all down in a fit of spite and fucking paranoia and jealousy and bullshit than actually take the path of, you know, I will never call it victory, but at least it would be some kind of softer landing, right? So let me break it down. So when I bought the business, I spent days of my life putting together documentation to revalue our house with the bank, and we got a home equity redraw facility against the house to use for the business in the case that we ever had a cash flow shortage and we ran into trouble and we couldn't pay all our bills. And so I set that up 5 years ago. Because Nicole's paranoid and delusional, she locked that thing on me when I fled from her and left the country. She locked that home equity line of credit. Like, I've never, ever touched it. The full amount, a couple of $100K that we had sitting there right from day one as a buffer, is still there. It's available for us to redraw if she unlocks it and I agree to unlock it, which I will. I've been asking for this for weeks, and we're now at the point where we don't have money to operate the business. We don't have money to buy beer. We don't have enough money to pay our staff and our obligations. We're falling short on our payments, and we've had to be very judicious about what bills we pay on time and which bills we pay, you know, pay back when we have the cash flow to actually support our debts. And so we've been working that train for a while because, you know, honestly, live music and this bit of journey we've been on has been pretty difficult, and we've certainly had some challenges along the way. To close the business out, we need money to operate it. We need money to operate it for 3 weeks. And I'm trying to get her to understand that we need to use that line of that home equity redraw facility to pump some operating cash into the business so that we can see it through to completion, so that when we have all these shows over the next couple of weeks, we've got kegs in the bar and we've got bottles on the shelf and we've got people in the room, we've got guards and we've got staff and we've got all that stuff. And for 3 weeks, like the amount we're going to need to borrow to tip in, let's just say it's 100K, just for simplicity's sake, it's probably around about that. Like, the interest on that for a 3-week period will be negligible. I've never not paid someone in my life for a service or a good they've delivered. I've not ever stolen from anyone. I've never walked away from a debt. But Nicole's thinking is that, well, I'm the director of the company, and even though she does, morally and legally, she's obliged to help me service that debt, and she'll enjoy half of any money that we get at the end of it. Despite all that, she's decided she's not tipping in another dollar of what she sees as her money, and she's refusing to allow us to put this money into the account to get us through literally the 3 weeks that we need to get to closure. So because she's spiteful and vengeful and paranoid and delusional and psychotic, she's prepared for us to not be able to pay all of our staff all the money that they're owed in terms of their pay and their superannuation. She's prepared for all of our suppliers, big, small, and everyone in between, to eat a bag of dick and not get paid for the fruit they've sold us or the beer that they've sold us. She's prepared for me to take the hit for the entire amount as the director of the company. And because she's refusing to use this facility that is like a loan that she could have that money in our bank account today, because she's refusing to do this, she's prepared to let the business fail. All the people there won't have jobs. The new owners, who I actually think are going to have a really good crack at making this a really thriving, successful business. They got good ideas. They got relevant experience. They're excited to be starting a new chapter. She's going to tear all that up because we're not even going to get to a sale. We've only got to get 3 weeks. We've done this for 5 years. We've walked this tightrope for 5 years. We've got 3 weeks, and then we've got some buyers that are going to give us some money for the business, and they're going to keep running it, and they're hopefully going to make it way better. Nicole and I will be able to pay it and square all our debts, and we'll walk away with some money in our pocket. Certainly not treasures and riches, but enough that I won't be starting my life in Africa on zero, and enough that she'll get some money and walk away with. But what she's doing now is going to fuck everything. She doesn't even understand, I don't think. She thinks I'll solve it somehow. It's my problem to solve. She thinks this is a mess I've created. And she's refusing to take a very common sense approach to solve like a business cash flow issue. Because what we'll get back from the sale will more than recoup the money. We'll be able to put that back on the equity facility. And then, like I said, we'll only pay probably a couple $100 in interest, probably not even that. This is one of those videos where I don't know what to do here, because I've implored some people that are close to me and close to the business to talk to her, and some of them are very fucking genuinely trying, and they get the problem and they get that we have a solution and they get that she's refusing to use that solution. I don't think Nicole realises that her actions are going to cause this whole thing to fall over. I've told her that, but she's not receptive to any kind of fucking common sense. So I'm going to put this out there. This is one of those videos I'm actually going to send it to Nicole first before I post it. And if she plays the game, then I won't have to release this. But if she refuses and she continues to dig her heels in, then I need everyone to know that venue that everyone loves, the most fucking bestest, fucking coolest, raddest last chance of live music that we seem to have, to get touring bands through Canberra. You know, all the bands that play there, all the scene, all our employees who've been so faithful and have gone through so much with us on a journey and give so much love and energy. She's prepared for us to stiff all of them, for us to stiff all our other creditors, for our ATO debt to balloon out from the 50 odd K or something I owe them in back taxes now to 280K that, you know, was a result of a small business restructuring. They forgave some of the debt, but only on the proviso we can pay it all back. She's prepared for me being the fall guy, being the director of the company, to be a cunt to everyone and to, you know, forevermore, like basically all these people, like a whole bunch of people will be looking at me going, what an asshole. Like, not only did he not complete a sale when there was a buyer on the line, but he also didn't pay any of his staff and he owed them all super, and he owed fucking the local fucking baker and the local butcher and the local fruit shop owner. He owed all their money, and he owed the tax man a stack of money, and he ran away and fucked off to Africa with it all, and he can never come back now because I'm going to have 400K or something of unpaid debt hanging over my head. When in reality, we've got buyers that are ready to keep running that business. We've got, you know, employees that want to continue with them. It's got a future. There should still be a place for, you know, a bigger room in Canberra for bands to play at, locals and touring acts and the whole lot. It's completely unnecessary that we fuck this up from here. It's completely unnecessary that we don't use a common sense approach. And I've never not paid anyone debt in my life. The Nicole I used to know would not accept $1 off anyone. If her own fucking mother or father tries to buy her lunch or dinner, she will refuse to accept that payment. She'll argue with them and create a fucking shitstorm, and eventually probably just fucking hide some money on their bench and then leave it when she leaves their house. Right, that's the Nicole I know. The Nicole I know, the real Nicole, the not neurotic, psychotic, delusional, paranoid, fucking messed up Nicole, the old Nicole, she wouldn't dream of not letting our staff get paid every cent they've earned. Because, to be honest, it's a fun job, but they still earn their money. We made a commitment to them as an employer that if they do hours, they'll be paid for it, and that includes their superannuation and all those obligations. The ATO will come after me forever. Like, they are fucking gangster mafia motherfuckers of fucking highest order. And they will fucking chase me. They won't be able to get me where I am, because I'll be fucking hidden from all fucking view, and I'll never be able to come back. I'll never be able to see my kids, you know, assuming one day they've forgiven me for, you know, having the audacity to leave their mother and to try and highlight that she's abusive. I'll never be able to land back in Sydney Airport and not, like, expect to get pulled into a special room on the side because I've got a movement alert list flag on me for being like a tax evading fucking absconder who owed a whole bunch of money and fled the country. I'll also be the guy that left everything. I left my house and didn't get a cent out of that. I left all my clothes, all my possessions, my birth certificate, everything. I left all that in a big mess for my poor, long-suffering wife to figure out what to do with it. That's her fucking preferred plan from here. My plan is we use the home equity redraw thing. We put a little bit of money in the business for 3 weeks so that we can operate it and buy beer for, like, you know, our big shows, and so we can make, you know, at least fucking see it off with a bang. We sell the business, the people who want to buy it. The employees who stick on. The bands that have all got bookings continue their bookings. I can get some money in my pocket. Nicole can get some money in her pocket. I can leave the country, like, knowing that at some point that passport's going to get me back in the door and not get me fucking locked up or in legal trouble. That's my plan. So, because, like, these allegations of mania and insanity are so fucking sticky, I haven't been able to shake it in years. You know, my closest friends and family still won't watch any of these videos. They won't engage with it. They won't listen to what I'm saying. They're just like, probably like, you know, because of all that, there's very few people that know me and Nicole that still fucking will talk to me even, or listen to me, that could possibly try and get her to see sense. I don't want to be the guy that fucked this up when we're like 2 meters from the finish line. I don't want to face plant when we've crawled across so much fucking broken glass to get within sight of this finish line. I don't fucking accept that we should fuck this up. You know, my accountant had to tell me that I asked him to see if he could intervene, and he had to tell me as a devil's advocate that from a risk exposure protection, Nicole's best option is not to put the money in, and that we just close the business and fold it and goes into liquidation. And he told me this like it's not a big deal, like it's just like, we'll just talk to a liquidator and like pay some money to them, and they'll just fucking strip all the assets, whatever's left, and they'll pay any creditors that are owed from what, you know, the $0 that are in the account, and file bankrupt. I'll become bankrupt and all that good stuff. And then literally like, it was not a big deal. And he had to tell me that he would have to advise her, you know, as a professional, that, you know, she's less exposed to risk if she doesn't agree to put in the money from the redraw facility, because when we settle the fucking business and once the money comes to us from the seller, we'll then also have to pay all our debts and our suppliers, and that will whittle away that sale amount. So at the end of it, she's not going to get that much, and, you know, so therefore, like, she will get a chunk. I don't know what that chunk is going to be. We both should get a chunk, but it's more than enough money to justify just fucking selling the business and letting it live on and letting this whole thing continue. It's more than enough money, and she's prepared to walk away from all that. So firstly, you know, word of warning, just be careful of the professional advice, because I couldn't believe that was his statement as a so-called advisor and someone who understands business. I'm like, well, why would we walk away from the sale money? Why would we do that? Why would we, you know, I would still then also owe the landlord until he found a new tenant, or he'd force me to make good on the thing. So, you know, all the debts that I can't pay anyway would just balloon out for no reason. It's our debt. We went into this together. She ejected as a director of the business when I was depressed the first time. Like, when she saw me flat on my back and we were in all kinds of strife, she ejected from the director's role at that point, which was a blessing in many ways, because it did give me some control back over my company. But at this point, it's another liability, because even though I could technically sue her for breach of our agreement, I don't have money to sue her, and I'll be in Africa with fucking earning local shillings there, and like no real fucking prospect of ever winning a case against her. So, and again, this is an unusual video because I don't usually post these in advance. I'm going to let my closest confidants try one more time, and my business broker try one more time to convince her to let us not plough this thing into the ground, because she's jealous and spiteful. But if you see this video, then you shall know that we've almost certainly failed, and it's been fucking all squandered for nothing, just because she's not well and she's not making good decisions, and all the things she says about me being irrational and erratic, almost all the things she says to me, like, she actually really needs to look in the mirror. And I know for a fact that a lot of people are now seeing what I see, and I know for a fact that even though, you know, still like, it seems complicated when you accept that she's got fucking serious problems and she's not her normal self, a lot of things will fall into place. And anyone who's met Nicole, anyone who knows Nicole really well, like especially her family, who probably won't watch this and won't listen to it, ask them if Nicole's ever fucking not paid a debt. Ask them if Nicole's ever like borrowed money and not paid it back. Or ask them if she would let all our staff go without their full entitlements and lose all their jobs. If you think that's the real Nicole, which it was at one point, then stop and ask yourself, what's changed now? Why is she like this now? And the answer is, she really needs help. And everything I've said about her is true. We don't have to fuck this up. All she needs to do is unlock that thing and then transfer some money into the account. I've offered that I, as the director of my company, will empower my manager and my administrative officer to have full banking control access, which I've never given them in 5 years of controlling it. I've always controlled the banking element. I've offered to give them full control and remove me from the business entirely in terms of the banking sense. And they'll then, once the money's transferred in, then they can clear all our debts, they can pay everything we're owed, all our beer suppliers, and then when we try to close the business, we don't have a whole heap of security default notices hanging over our head. It's so easy, we could do it today, except she's refusing to play ball. So, I don't accept that we've gone this far and we're just going to fuck it up. I'm not going to let that happen. Please, I'm not doing this to hurt anyone, but I need you to know the scenario. We've almost got like something of a soft landing, and she's intent on fucking ploughing this into the ground at full tilt. If any of you know her personally, or you know people that know her personally, that if you can maybe convince, like even ask them to try and speak sense to her. Anyone who loves the Baso, anyone who's played there, anyone who's got a ticket booked there, anyone who's, you know, got love for the staff there and the people, please try and get through to her, because she's got me by the balls. I've got no fucking legal power. I'm dependent on her being a good human that she claims to be and actually paying our debts. Because the idea she could walk away from them and just leave everything else to burn, including me, the bar, my future, my citizenship, all that shit. That's her plan. Hopefully you never see this video.